Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
These are not three of the faces you're used to seeing all together at this time, right?
I know, you got the C team.
Yes.
With shelves here.
No.
On a Friday.
No, this is the A team today, ladies.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So it's Labor Day weekend. Hopefully you guys have some plans, whether you're getting out of town or you're staying home. It could be a typical holiday weekend in Houston where we have a lot of rain, right?
I know.
It's like that happens all the time. It's ridiculous.
I swear, it's every big weekend.
is.
You have all these outdoor plans, but you just gotta pick and choose. You know, there's probably gonna be a few showers overhead, but it's not gonna be widespread, which I think is the good news.
That's good.
That's good. All right. So we are checking on the airports and how things are going there. Heather Sullivan is hanging out at Hobby this morning. Is everything pretty much on time, Heather, there?
Yeah, you know, I can just see the Southwest boards over here, but everything's been on time. I haven't seen any cancellations or delays on the board so far this morning. You do want to check FlightAware or check with your airline before you head out, see if there is anything affecting. But things are really moving very smoothly here at Hobby. There's actually been just kind of a steady flow of people going through TSA. There was a bigger rush very early in the morning, which there typically is. People taking those first flights out, always a good idea. But if you are flying out today, things seem to be moving very smoothly overall. Just expect a lot of your closest friends are all going to be at the airport today. They're expecting some really high numbers of travelers this holiday weekend. I do want to let you know, though, to be careful about the sort of resurgence of the fake airline scams. You know, I started telling you about these issues a year ago, but we're starting to see a resurgence, and that's because after the CrowdStrike outage that caused some of the airlines to have to cancel a lot of flights, well, people started reaching out for help online, and we started seeing the resurgence of the fake airline scams. And so what this is like, if you're someone who likes to tweet at an airline to say, hey, my flight's been canceled or delayed, I need your help. It has always been a good way to reach the airline. However, this is where we're seeing a lot of the fakes pop up. So just yesterday, I tweeted at Lufthansa airline saying, hey, I need help with a canceled flight. And I did hear from them right away, but I also heard from 8 fake airlines on Twitter immediately. These are just some of the responses that I immediately got. They're all going to look really real. In fact, Lena DeFlores was saying that she almost fell for one of these recently. They're going to ask, though, for your personal information, your name, your flight information, your phone number, your WhatsApp number, assuming, I guess, that we all have one of those. But anyway, you want to look at the actual profile of who's sending you those messages because, like, look at this, for example. It was just started in August of 2024. So the airlines report these, the social media platforms shut them down, but these are being created by bots. And so they're constantly being, new ones created, and that's why they'll be brand new. But he's got, 1 follower, and he's following 6. It's a brand new account, which means that it's not going to be a real account. And that's pretty much what all of them look like. So that's that red flag. If you do tweet an airline, you want to look for that authentic check mark, or just go right here. This is a good trick on Twitter. You can just hit the verified column, and it shows you tweets from the verified accounts that you follow. So there is the Lufthansa actual account right there that's got that check mark, that authentication check mark. So look for that. You also be sure that you're downloading the app for your airline. That's a great way to get in touch with them or find the phone number there. And also, if you do search for the website, make sure that you are searching for the correct website for the airline, because we're seeing those dupes again popping up, and that's been a problem for people trying to book flights. They end up on these dupe websites. They call that what they think is either that airline or travel agency, but they're not getting tickets. They're credit cards are being charged, and they get to the airport and they don't have tickets. So I want you to be really careful whether you're setting up travel or if you are heading out this weekend. If you get into trouble, be sure that you are talking to the airline, and even if you just have to go up and talk to them in person at the gate or the lounge, that's one of the best ways to just make sure that you're avoiding those scams. So things are running smoothly here. Hope everybody has a wonderful Labor Day weekend wherever you might be going or how you plan to enjoy it. We'll send things back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Heather. That is great information, seriously.
Yes.
It really is.
And glad it's not crazy busy already.
I know. And glad it's Heather at the airport for once and not me.
I don't understand. Shelby Rose does not like going to the airport.
Hobby's fine, but it's Bush because Terminal A, if you're from Houston, you know there used to be a Starbucks there.
Yes.
Now there's not.
So back when I was a reporter, I used to always go to Terminal A, and there was a Starbucks there, and the airport was my favorite spot. I used to beg to go to the airport because it was air conditioned, there were bathrooms, there was a Starbucks.
Yeah,
now there's
chilling.
just like a
it.
really terrible Subway. And that's it.
And don't order coffee from there.
No.
And so it's just, and yeah.
So Shelby Rose, you would rather be out on a street in front of a dark courthouse than at the airport? Absolutely.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
That's funny.
I don't get it, but I respect it.
Well, I know where I want to be.
Yes.
Eating
Ruben.
hamburgers
I
with
know,
Ruben.
with Trill. What the heck?
Have you tried the Trill tenders?
Oh, and he's eating.
Fun fact, guy. And she's, you know, as I love all of my colleagues, but I especially love Shelby Rose because they used to send me to the airport all the time. So, wonderful addition to the morning show. I'm so glad she's with us. All right, here we go, people. So, Chef Mike Pham is here. We are at Trill Burgers. So much happening. For the first time, the tenders.
Yep.
And yes, I took a bite out of it already. Will be available at TDECU, and that's the only place you're going to be getting them at the home games for the Cougars. Talk about it.
Yeah, so we finally found a home for our Trill tenders. We're very honored to be in the house of TDECU, the Cougar Stadium, and we're really excited to showcase this tenders to the city. Please come and check out us at the games, get yourself some tenders, see what it's all about.
And these are award-winning tenders.
They are award-winning.
Tell the world.
They took top honors in the largest tender festival in the world, and we took that prize home for H-Town.
I love that, man. So sometime down the road, in the future, will you be able to get it in the restaurant or not? Haven't made a decision yet?
You know, one step at a time. We're finally able to find a home for it. Again, we're very proud of where we're located. We're going to try to take it one step at a time, make sure we do it right, make sure everyone enjoys it there, and hopefully expand from there.
I love it. I'm going to fix that up. Tell everybody what this is.
Again, so this is the special we're doing for Bun B's Day, which is today. Doors open at 11. This is our first patty meal ever, double American cheese, double American patties, American cheese, our house-made chili, pickles, sliced onions, sliced tomatoes on a jalapeno toast.
Now, you made some earlier in the show, and I didn't even get a bite because the crew, like, jumped on it.
Oh, they dusted it.
They dusted. I turned around, and it was gone. So I'm going to get a little bite of that here in a minute.
Sir.
But make sure my hands are clean because today they are launching the new Bun B Day black and white colorway
Sick
for the
colorway.
Trill Burger hat. Talk about it.
Yep. So you got the Bun B release, this a new era hat. I think it's one of the cleanest colorways. You can wear it with anything.
That's beautiful. Available today
Available today. It's
at a
gonna sell out
special
today.
discounted price.
Yes, sir.
So come on in. Bun said so earlier in the, on the air. He couldn't be here. We had to meet him here like at 7 o'clock to tape the interview because he's flying out to Vancouver. Always looking for new spots to take the Trill Burger
Yes, sir.
empire. You guys going to go to Coachella again this year?
You know, we're still thinking about it.
Still
Yeah,
thinking, because that's a
thinking
lot.
about it. Yes,
Did
sir.
y'all go 2 years ago?
We did. We did the last
It was crazy.
2 years.
Oh, yeah, it was
few
crazy.
years. It was crazy.
Yeah,
It was
the
a lot of
Instagram
demand.
feed is nuts. It's just like one major celebrity after another stopping
sir.
by
Yes,
for a Trill Burger. I love that, man. All right, well, this dude, much continued success.
Thank
and
you so
if you
much.
guys were watching all morning long, for the first segment, probably 10 times, called him Chef Steve. So
You can call me Chef Steve, too.
So I apologize, Chef Mike. That's my bad. It won't happen again. I promise
It's
you.
all good.
All right, guys. These are incredible. I would drive. Love U of H. Wasn't planning on going to the game, but I would drive all the way there to get these chicken tenders. I'm not lying to you. This is amazing. And it's not just a hat. There's lots of Trill Burger swag on sale. You can pick it up. Doors are about to open. Get on down here. Get the Bun B patty melt. It looks delicious. It's about to be delicious once I get into it. Back to you guys in the studio.
Hey,
Yum.
Ruben, can you ask them after you finish chewing how much
I do this nodding
are
thing
the
a lot.
Trill tenders?
We're
much do they cost?
curious.
Do you know what the price? Do you know what the price point's going to be at the stadium?
Yes, I think that's going to be close to like 15 something.
For stadium
in
food,
the
that's
$15 range.
That's
These
not bad for
tenders
stadium
are
food.
huge.
Yeah. What about
Huge.
the burger?
And
Is
there was
the
a
burger
stack
still
of fries.
The stacked fries, we're just going to accommodate that we are in someone else's house.
I got you.
We're going to make sure you come.
I got you. Now, you were asking about the burger?
Oh, the
What was
burger.
the
Yeah,
question?
what's the price point on the burger?
How about if you're just having the Trill Burger?
Yeah.
What's the price point?
I believe it's a little bit reduced from our other stadiums. It's around 18 something. Again, we have to accommodate for being someone's house. Make sure we take care
Right,
of
right.
that.
You got to go with. It depends on whose house you're in.
Yes, sir.
I got it. All right, guys.
For
Trill
sure.
Burgers. If you haven't had one, come get one.
I haven't, Ruben. Bring me
I'm outta here.
one.
Bring
Thank
us
you.
some. We haven't had any. The patty melt looks good.
You haven't had any?
No.
Nothing. I've
We've
All right,
never
I'll
had
talk to
Trill.
the chef. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
Dig in, Ruben. Let's zoom in. Let's
Bye.
see it.
Bye.
See the bite.
Yes. Love it.
Ruben has
Got
got
to roll Ruben out of there.
early lunch. Yep, he's like, keep it going, keep it going.
Now we're hungry.
I know. Now I'm honestly starving.
I am
I'm not
too.
gonna lie.
Yeah, this is the end of our day, and we're hurting. All right, let's take a break, and we will see you back here.
Fox 26 is the Fox 26 YouTube page. Like and subscribe today.
Welcome back.
All right.
Football Friday.
It is.
Friday.
We've been listening to Nate screaming
Yep.
all morning.
So this is the first time I've seen him do these segments.
Oh,
and,
it is?
And Mike's like, strap in, baby. Nate is more excited than the folks at the school.
I had to do it once when I first started here.
That's so fun.
And it was
a workout, right? It's a workout.
I
and
had to muster up every ounce of energy that I had
like, just
to do it.
smile.
Nate, it's like natural. He like does.
Yeah.
You're just the best, Nate.
Yeah.
I love the shirts you've had today too. The schools have been so kind to give you their school shirts.
Yeah.
So now you're down in Pearland.
Yes, I'm actually at Shadow Creek High School, and this is the number 7th
See, all his
ranked
energy's gone.
area team.
I know.
And so it's going to be, what's that? It's going to be it's going to be a really good game tonight between Summer Creek and Shadow Creek. These two teams, I tell you what, if I didn't have a game tomorrow, I would be at this game, one of these games tonight, this game tonight, because it's going to be so good. But I really want to thank both schools for allowing us to come out this morning. Summer Creek, again, when you're the number 2 area ranked school, and you played in the high school championship game last year and lost to the number 1 team in the state, that's not what you do. You know, and so same with Shadow Creek. I mean, they allowed us to come in, and I think it's a credit to what you guys do back at Fox 26 that they've allowed this to happen. So Friday Football Fever is really alive and well, and again, we work with some great people. Renee Rives, who's at Alvin ISD, they do a phenomenal job in making sure that we are allowed in and get access to, you know, these coaches and players and kids. And you guys know I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. I lost 10 pounds to get ready to get in here. I don't know if you guys know, but I lost 10 pounds. Okay, so I'm telling you, you can't run around with these kids if you don't. It ain't happening. You're not going to be able to do the kind of mornings we do if you don't. You know, we got Dave driving all over the city to get from point A to point B. And you better believe if we're going to do it, we're going to have fun doing it. And I know, Sally, I remember when you and I was doing this thing and you were going out, you know, and I was a judge sitting at the desk.
So, yeah, back in the day, guys, I used to go out to do Friday Football Fever with another reporter named Rob Wu. And Nate would be at the desk, and he would have a whistle, and he would judge which one of us brought the most school spirit. Nate, and we had some epic moments, didn't we?
How many times? What was your win-loss percentage?
I don't know. I think at the end, didn't you give it to me? And Rob was so mad.
He was angry. But Sally, here's the thing. Poor Rob Wu, and I love Rob Wu. We stay in touch today.
Yeah.
You know, we're in contact on social media. We'll text each other every now and then.
Super talented guy.
And Rodney was his photographer. But they should have known, Sally, you're my little sister. You know, you're so you're close to my heart. It's kind of like, how am I going to get her? I was trying to figure out how was I going to get around telling him you ain't winning today. You know, it's like
He just didn't want to hurt the lady.
No. She had to have won fair and square, though.
No. It was like Rob. Now you know you're going against Sally. You know, daggum Skippy, you're not going to win. You know, it's kind of like, oh my God, you know,
Skippy.
But there was some really good Friday mornings. You know, when he really did do some really creative stuff.
Yes.
You know, and so now it's morphed into this. We used to be the ones who would go out there and lead the kids, but now the kids, they're the story.
They're the story.
You know, when they bring in these, they bring in these high-profile football teams. You gotta let them have it. And so, you know, we make sure that they get involved, and you guys do a phenomenal job of giving us the time. So it's just so much fun. And then Phil Steele at the end, you got a guy who is probably one of the foremost national authorities on college football. You know, and he and I have a good relationship. It's good to have him on. He's got his magazine out there. I hope people will buy it. It's been a good morning. It really has.
Well, I like how you spotlight all of the different groups that are there, and you let us just hear what's going on.
Oh yeah,
too.
it's a production, man.
I mean,
it's awesome.
A lot of people don't realize you're choreographing all of that. You don't have anybody else out there. You've got to make sure everybody's in their spot and they know what to do at the right time.
Well, we work with the producers. The producers make sure we get everything we need, and I got to commend Lisa. I told Lisa I was in a little bit of a time problem. Now I didn't have enough time to get ready for Phil, and you can't go on the air not being ready for Phil Steele. That does not work. And I had to eliminate. I had to find something that had to go. You know, and so she was nice enough to give me enough time to do what I needed to do. She knows what I'm talking about. I won't say it, but she was nice enough to give me the time to do what I needed to do. So we got it done. And Dave, my photographer,
Nate,
you know, he's spot on money.
Producer Lisa is saying, yes, please continue to talk about me for 5 minutes about how wonderful I am. There she is. Yay, Lisa!
Well, you know, I mean, Lisa and I have been working together since I've been there, like you and I, Sally. She's been around a bit, you know, so, you know, we work together really, really well. So like all the other producers, but it's just that Lisa's been there longer than anybody else. So it works out. And so you guys, I appreciate you guys, you know, and I appreciate everybody and what they do. So it worked out well today, and you know, this is the first one. So we kicked it off pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
It went off.
It was
went off
strong.
well.
Absolutely.
You're so great, Nate.
Yeah, yeah.
Nate the Great.
Well, we try.
Thank you.
We try, Allison.
Have a good
All right, guys.
weekend.
Bye, Nate.
Yep. I'm gonna get some rest.
Oh, sorry.
Get some rest.
There's the hook.
Yep. We got to get to weather. We got about a couple minutes left.
We do. And it's gloomy out there.
Oh, gross.
When I was driving in, I passed the Galleria, but I always like to look over and see the skyline of downtown, and you couldn't because the clouds were so low. Now, there's not much rain happening in Houston yet, but I do want to take you out to our radar. So a lot of the action is off the coast, off to our east, moving closer to Port Arthur and Beaumont, but take a look at those few isolated cells actually moving just past LaPorte there and heading toward League City. And I would say maybe it's going to skirt like the southeastern portion of Houston, but honestly, this is not packing a punch at all. There's no lightning and there's just a little bit of rain. So where we could be seeing some maybe isolated street flooding, really going to be on the east side of town. We're talking even east of Baytown, but it does include Galveston. So I say if you are planning on heading out to the beach this holiday weekend, you really need to keep an eye on the radar because no, it's not going to be a washout like we've been saying, but I'd say the closer to the coast that you get, the higher the rain chances will be and maybe a bit more often, whereas maybe you're further inland, west of town, northwest of town, like up toward Brenham, it's going to be definitely more hit or miss variety. The good news is with the rain comes slightly cooler temps.
Look at that.
80s in what's soon to be September?
That's amazing. I feel like this whole entire week has been really great. Like,
oh, yeah.
I've enjoyed being outside. It's just been wonderful.
Yeah, comparative to the week before.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was so funny yesterday. So the storms were coming in kind of from the southeast and then moving northwest. So the rain was pushing through Houston. It was 75 degrees. Cypress, where it hadn't rained yet, was still 90.
Oh.
It just
that's
shows
so weird.
how cool the temps get. But then it's funny because the sun comes back out and you come right back up. But
Yeah.
hey, we'll take like
We'll
a
take
little bit.
Right, because we know
break.
summer part 2 is gonna come.
Yes.
That's what I always
yes.
call it, summer part 2. And then there's usually like a
fake
little break.
fall,
Yep.
yeah.
And then there's a summer part 3, and then we finally get a little taste of fall.
It's like good luck.
Yes. All right. Have a wonderful weekend. We hope you have a 3-day one planned, but we will see you back here on Monday or tomorrow morning. Allison will be here.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Fox 26 is
Hello and welcome back to Tom's DIY Garage. You'll notice we are not in my workshop. We are in the kitchen. And there's a very good reason for that, because as I record this, it is the hottest day of the year outside, in excess of 100 degrees. And climate controls in the workshop are no match for that at all. It'd be a sweaty mess, uncomfortable mess. And quite frankly, I'd get irritable after a while, and nobody wants to see that. But we are still going to make stuff, because this is a do-it-yourself conversation, because there's satisfaction and there's money to be saved, all of the above. I love all of that, and you probably do, which is why you're here. So what are we going to make? We're going to make a bunch of things with cottage cheese. You've probably noticed, if you're on social media in any way, shape, or form, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. I'm not a TikToker at all, but I've seen kind of clips of it. There are all sorts of recipes of people making stuff using cottage cheese, baked goods, sweet goods, savory goods, cottage cheese of all things. Now, perhaps you've eaten cottage cheese. Maybe you've never eaten cottage cheese. There was a time when it was very, very popular, 70s, 80s, kind of when it had its real big first heyday. It was seen kind of as a diet food. Why? It's high in protein, it's low in carbs, it's got manageable calories, and if you've got a problem with sodium, it's probably not the best for you, but you can make that choice. But people are finding, instead of just eating a spoonful of cottage cheese, which I like to do, maybe with some tomatoes or some fruit in there, or, you know, any number of things. It's very versatile. It can also add some texture, it can add substance, it can add moisture to these various and sundry things that people are making. So I thought, what's the big hubbub about? I see people making the stuff. I've seen the pictures. I don't know what it's like to make them. I don't know what it's like to taste them. So we're going to give it a go. First up is the recipe that caught my eye on social media. You probably saw it too. It's the cottage cheese flatbread. Oh, by the way, they call it viral because it's so popular. I hate that term, but there it is anyway. So it's probably also the easiest to make. So let's get to that. When I say simple, I mean put the ingredients, and there are 4 of them, into a food processor and whirl them up. So let's start with the cottage cheese. This is a 4% milk fat cottage cheese, small curd from our favorite grocery store, my favorite. Hello, H-E-B, calling you. Not a product placement. But a lot of these recipes call for full fat, organic, super special cottage cheese. I don't know that that necessarily makes a difference. I'm going to hope that this is going to be okay. I didn't go with the 2% or the no-fat cottage cheese, so that's what we're going to go with. So let's start with that particular ingredient. This particular recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup. So this is a quarter. Put it in there. Yep. And then there's the rest of that. That's a 1/2 cup right there. An egg, 1 egg. Man, eggs are expensive these days. But you can add oregano, thyme, rosemary, some herbs. I'm using a Greek seasoning, so it's just really flavorful. We like it. It's about a teaspoon. Put that in there. It also calls for some garlic powder as well. Not a tremendous amount. It says a teaspoon. That seems like a lot of garlic. But anyway, 4 ingredients. Now, let's whirl it up. Once you've mixed it up nice and smooth, no cottage cheese chunks, you want to pour it out onto a parchment paper lined pan. And as you do it, you'll notice it's pretty thin. It's a batter. And make sure you get it all out. I don't know if there's any wrong way to do it, but just want to have it cover some real estate, I guess. It goes into a 375-degree oven, and this particular recipe says it bakes for 35 minutes. While that flatbread is baking, the other recipe, the next one I want to try, is one that doesn't require any baking at all. It's a freezer recipe, and it starts with a blender. I'm going to make ice cream. This one seems pretty simple, and it starts, of course, with the cottage cheese, and we need 2 cups of cottage cheese. Up next is cocoa powder, unsweetened cocoa powder. We need 3/4 of a cup of this. So this little 1/4 cup measuring cup looks old. It is old. My mom gave this to me, and I think her mom gave it to her. So this dates back to the 60s, 1960s, kids. Next up is, so the recipe calls for 1/2 cup of maple syrup. Didn't have any maple syrup. This is sugar-free pancake syrup. I think it's going to be okay. It's a lot less sugar as well, which I like. Put that in there. Get it all out. A couple of teaspoons of espresso powder. 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Finally, this seems like a lot, but this is the recipe. 1.5 cups of creamy peanut butter. You heard me right. 1.5 cups of creamy peanut butter. Then you take this collection of stuff, put it on the blender, put the lid on, because that would be a mess otherwise, and let her rip. The mixture is pretty thick, but put it out into in this case it's a ceramic baking dish, and get it all in there, and you will freeze this. Directions say it needs about 2 hours, and then you've got ice cream. There's the flatbread after 35 minutes of cooking. It's supposed to cool for about 10 minutes before you try to move it. Next up, we're going to make something for breakfast. These are egg, ham, and cheese cups. Cheese in a couple of different ways, of course. Cottage cheese, right? So I found this recipe, and it was essentially just a description of the ingredients, the temperature of the oven, and the cook time. The rest, seemingly, you kind of make it up as you go along, but again, I'm not terribly worried. Let me show you how this one works. For this, you've got 6 eggs, a cup of shredded cheese. You can use any flavor. This is Gouda, but Swiss, cheddar also would work as well. And then there's your cottage cheese. That's 1/2 cup of that. And then whisk it together. Next, a muffin tin and some sliced ham. I'm going to put 2 slices of this ham in each tin. And then ladle the egg mixture into the middle of that ham. And this goes into the oven for 20 minutes. And egg cups. Now how about some cheesecake? At least the name of this one seems to make sense with the ingredients. Cottage cheese, cheesecake. This one seems pretty intriguing. It seems very easy as well. Let's see what goes in it. It's back to the food processor with this one. The name of this recipe is high protein cottage cheese cheesecake. So again, that's one of the benefits of the cottage cheese. We start with 1.25 cups of the base ingredient, our cottage cheese. 2 eggs, put that in there. 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and this is 1/3 cup of honey, a pinch of salt. food processor to get it all smooth. The recipe calls for using a springform pan like